Hey everyone, this is Blair Reynolds with On the Beam. Today we have Jason Hull with us, and he's a friend of On the Beam. He's one of these people that we know out of relationship, we've known for some time. But here's something that you need to know about Jason. He's very diverse. He's one of these guys that seems to have success in all sorts of different areas. He comes from a family that's been very successful, and he has a consulting company that takes CEOs, takes leaders, and takes people that are in corporate America or entrepreneurs into high stakes environments and helps them to become better business people and work better in teams. So Jason, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. So we're gonna jump straight in, which is the adventure consulting.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the terminology you use. I know that your company is Balanced Edge.
Right.
But what's the rationale behind it?
Okay. So the rationale is it's a combination of team building. It's a combination of real life, real application. The problem is that, team building gets kind of a bad rap because it's only has so many dimensions to it, and you only go so far, and you have buy-in in the beginning, and then after a while you notice the team begins to kind of get distracted, and pretty soon there's one person, Johnny, up at the top, and everybody else is doing their own thing. And at the end of the day, it's a fun experience. They feel good about it. They had fun, and maybe a fun conversation in the coffee room, but was it really life-changing?
Yeah.
Rarely. And it takes a really unique CEO to take that experience within team building and apply it in a meaningful way that will drive results long-term, no less short-term, with the company. So what we've done is we've taken the idea of team building and taken it to a whole nother level. And part of it was by mistake. Part of it was because, when I was younger, I found out you could ski for free. All you had
How
to
does
do,
this happen?
all you had to do was join Ski Patrol. So sure enough, we went through the training, and about a year and a half later, we realized, wow, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's fun, and we do ski for free, but it's
But we
a
have
job.
all of this to do as well.
It's a lot of work. I loved it. I loved it. And as a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, and then going into National Ski Patrol, I began to get really into rescue, firefighting, search and rescue, and I became good at it and became a trainer at it, and developed a company back in the late 90s, or actually late 80s, that trained folks, fire departments, search and rescue, SWAT teams, and really technical aspects of rescue. And that's what I really loved. And I found that something happened. It was the skills were cool. People, the firefighters would be able to apply these skills, save lives, things would happen. Results were great. But the better results was what happened inside the person. It was a transformation of confidence, of aptitude, and just the ability to see a target and apply a path, a strategy to be able to get to that result, and the ability to problem solve, the ability to have a purpose, because you're saving lives, right? It's intense.
Yeah.
So you apply that level of purpose in with team building and transformational thinking, and taking your bar to the next level and going beyond your perceived limits is huge. And that's what normal team building does, only at a certain level.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same depth.
Yeah, it'll test you. It'll push you.
Yep.
You'll do things you didn't think you would do. But we've taken it now, we've used it as the rescue team building model. And we use that to really get to the core traits of the individual.
Yeah.
And since that point, we've used other experiences as well. But it really comes down to the experience. It's creating an experience, whether it's through the use and leverage of rescue or through something else that we craft, to get 100% buy-in from you and everybody else in your group, and to put you off balance, out of your comfort zone, and in a situation where you're going to be able to thrive beyond what you thought you would be able to.
Yeah. So pushing yourself
absolutely.
to the absolute limit.
That's right.
And I like, there's so many different reasons that I like this methodology, one of which is it's high stakes. Like the pressure is up, and I don't know why I always use this analogy, but it's like the World Series of poker.
That's right.
Where the ticks of the gamblers will become more and more pronounced, the more pressure and the more money and the more stress. So only the best eventually make it to the the final table.
That's right.
But with what you're doing, you're actually creating a stressful, pressure-filled environment where people get tested, their mettle gets tested, and they get forged in teams, which only happens usually like in foxholes and war and all these other situations. So I want to dig into how we can apply this in our lives, because obviously people can work with your company, but I'm sure that you're beginning to see traits and characteristics that are either need to be developed or you recognize in the field that maybe you can help us to identify and even bolster in our own lives.
Okay. Would you agree that life is a game?
I depending on definition, I would probably say yes.
Okay. So if the definition of a game is that it has to have a purpose, it has to have barriers, right? Something to make, that's what makes it fun, right? Is you have to overcome the barriers.
Absolutely.
And you have the freedom to play it. Okay. So if you have the barriers, the purpose, and the freedoms, you have yourself a game.
Yeah.
And so if you could say life is a game, then taking yourself to the next level, if you raise your game, you're essentially, by its very essence, you have to, in order to get yourself to that next level, put yourself in a situation where those barriers are larger, are bigger.
That's a good point.
And that's counterintuitive to most people, where it's like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute on. Why would I jump out of an airplane? Well, why would I put myself in a situation where there's larger barriers?
Yeah.
I want to run away from the flaming building. I don't want to run towards it, right?
Absolutely, of course.
And that is the opposite direction from where people actually need to go. And that's life in general, is it's counterintuitive. So if you go towards the flames, so to speak, if you go towards those barriers, you're actually raising the bar for yourself. And by that very nature, you're going to allow yourself to grow at a more rapid rate. And you're resisting less, because otherwise, if you resist those barriers, you're resisting growth.
I love that concept, because people either grow smaller or they grow bigger.
Right.
Like they don't ever stay the same.
Exactly.
But the people that I notice that are effective entrepreneurs, they're like racing towards bigger obstacles. It's hilarious. They're the only people on the planet that say that looks hard. Oh, that looks fun.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to challenge myself at, because they recognize that's where their skills are honed. That's where they become a bigger, better business person.
That's exactly right.
So let's talk about this in the business workplace.
Okay.
So there's a high stakes situation. What are some things that we can do personally? Let's say we don't have the advantage of our company hiring out these services. So me as an individual that knows that I want to get to that next level, what would you recommend that I would start doing?
Read. Really raise the bar in terms of your knowledge, because if you pretend to know it all, then that's all you'll ever know, is what you pretend to know. And so if you're reading and you're seeking out mentors and coaches and wisdom from other people, right? Because there's wisdom in many counsel, there's wisdom in lots of people. That's huge alone. The other part is, with that said, trust but verify.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell my kids, trust but verify. Offer respect to everybody. Every opinion deserves respect, but it doesn't necessarily deserve you saying, I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's...
Regardless of the platform the person has.
Absolutely.
A lot of times they can be the most destructive.
Yeah. If it's true for you, it may not be true for me.
Yeah.
Right? And you may believe it, but when I verify it, the information I get, it may be something different. And so trust but verify. The other thing is, don't take things too serious. That's one of the things, you know, people always say, well, seriously, you know, or I'm seriously focused.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. That's two different directions.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be focused. I want to
be at peace and focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see the ball. I want to like focus on the solution, right? And if I'm serious, all I'm doing is I'm locking in my mindset to a very narrow mindset, very narrow perspective, and everything around me, which could be filled with opportunity, filled with knowledge, filled with people offering to help, I'm not going to see a thing.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious that you brought that up, because just this last week, I ran into somebody that had been at some place that I was speaking. And so he pulled me aside and he's like, hey, I really want to tell you what impacted me about your message. So I was looking for, oh man, I wonder what I said, because I never know. It's always fluid. Yeah. But he brought up the most simple thing. He's like, at the end of your message, you said, don't take yourself too seriously. Like that was it. And he said his life has transformed. He went from a certain thing where it was, I won't say all the things that he was into, but let's just say they weren't great, to an amazing life and lifestyle. And that was one of those things that just resonated with him and stayed with him. And I found it was almost off-putting when he said it. I'm like, really? I don't even remember saying that, and that seems so simplistic. But that was the advice and the permission he needed to relax and enjoy life.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. You know, really being responsible for your own energy, your own enthusiasm is huge. You know, and so often we try to, we adopt the energy of the people around us, and we get so caught up in all the drama and all this stuff. I mean, if you want to get to the next level in your personal life, your business life, then the first step is to stop reading anything that has to do with drama and just garbage, right? And stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Stop talking about other people. Stop talking about information that you heard third party, fourth party, and you're talking about it like it's fact. You know, it's back it up. Back up what you say every single time. And your energy, it's something you own. You know, I had a lot of physical challenges when I was young, 13, broken leg, and that's quite an interesting story in itself, but it taught me that I'm responsible for my own energy. I'm responsible for maintaining my own happiness, and I had to develop strategies to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that. And it's an important characteristic because so often people want to blame it on the externals instead of just taking responsibility for what's internal.
Exactly.
And that's the only thing you really have responsibility for.
That's right.
I really appreciate your time. We actually are going to do a few more segments with you, and we're going to hit a few topics. And just for the audience, as a little bit of a teaser so you understand what's coming, I know some of the things that we're going to be talking about is your family, because you have this fascinating history and your work with family members and also mentors, but also getting into his other business, which you'll love. And it gives you insights into how to do business effectively, but in a more systematic, practical, elegant solution, you might say. So we'll look forward to the next time we talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.